Hi everyone, our journal page today, and I'm trying again to minimize the stashes I have. I've got here so many jelly prints that's what I'm going to use today. You don't have to use jelly prints if you don't have a jelly plate. It can be any kind of painty paper, or even if you have stacks of scrapbook paper, like if you have something like this. The only thing that I've tried to do is to take several painty papers or jelly prints that will give me some variation in the color from light to dark, so I can play on my page and create some kind of background. Same thing I can do with any scrapbook paper. I can pick something that is more dark and then pick something that is more light and play with it. So it doesn't have to be jelly prints, and it really doesn't matter what is printed on it. You just want to pick something interesting with details in the back. So as you can see, the details in the back are changing, and it really doesn't matter. It will just give interest to the background. So this jelly prints, I've already trimmed the white that I had around, because my jelly plate is smaller than an A4 printer paper, and just so to make my life easier when I'm going to start tearing them apart and gluing them to my page and creating a background. So I'm starting, and I'm going to start tearing these papers, and we'll see. It's really free form, it doesn't have any rules, and I'm applying this one here. Yeah, now because it's only printer paper, it's thin, I don't need any strong glue. I'm just going to use this glue stick. Like so. Here we go. Moving this aside, I want the lighter color in the middle and going darker towards these two ends. That's the only thing that I'm planning on. And tearing this also. Something like this. Yeah. Now, of course, they are going to overlap, and I hope it will create some interesting background. Okay, moving to the next page I have, and let's see. So this one will go something like this, and I'm trimming it a little bit. I don't want straight edges on my background. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, now I'm happy. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue this whole thing here, and then I won't have to be bothered with white spaces, and I will keep layering the other parts on top of this. And I'm not concerned about wasting all this, because as I said, I've got too many painty papers, jelly prints, whatever, and it's just too much. And each time I sit to make more jelly prints or painty papers, I can't stop myself, so it just keeps on accumulating and just have too much. I'm not complaining, but it needs to be used. So I'm just trimming the excess so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I don't have to be worried that I will have white space. So moving to the next color of painty paper, and again just tearing it apart. I just want it a little bit more wavy, so I'm just trimming a little bit, just so I will have more interest, and I don't want this white. Of course, if I want to, when I'm finished with all the gluing, I can go over all the white or all the edges and paint them, or I will leave it be. I don't know, haven't decided yet. So gluing this again, just with the glue stick, and I will trim the edges, the excess later, just so we can move along and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so next in line, yeah, something like this. I think I will already trim the excess so I can see my corner and where I'm putting my next paper. Okay, and let's see. This is nice and quite grungy, so let's see. Yeah, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to do the same thing I've done here. I'm going to do it here, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it off camera, and I'll come back when I'm finished gluing these pieces and creating my background. I'll be back. Okay, so here is my background, and I was already gearing up to start stenciling on top of it, and this is one of my stencils, but you can use whatever you want, and I don't want to stencil, I want to use it as a guideline. I've got a permanent marker. This is supposed to be for CD DVD, but it's great permanent marker, and I'm just going to trace the leaves. Now if you don't have any kind of this kind of stencil, you can even go out, pick some leaves and trace them. So it's really not about what a stencil you have. So I'm just going to do right now the outline of the leaves, like so. I will also have to do the stem with the permanent marker, and for me this is also, well, part of the background. This is not my main image, my focal image. I want some birds on this page, So I don't want the branch with the leaves to be too prominent. If I wanted it to be my focal image, then I would go with something bolder that will stand out on this kind of background, like picking up a color that will be more noticeable, or start cutting out leaves from a different paper and start gluing them, and it would be with another color that will just contrast with the background. So trying to do some branches here, like so, like this. Just trying to connect some of them. It really doesn't matter, but nonetheless, just so it would look a little bit better. And I'm also giving them a little bit more heft, whatever. Just so it would look just a little bit more like leaves connected to a branch. Okay, starting to look good, and I'm thinking that I'm going to add some lines inside each leaf just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to use the other tip of this permanent marker and just go with the shape of the leaf and add some lines. You can doodle, you can take some stamps, you can put your stencil back again, take stamps and stamp inside each leaf to make it more interesting. It's really up to you. I'm just going with the flow right now. So this is gonna take some time to go over all the leaves, so I'm going to do it off camera and then I'll come back. Finished putting lines in the leaves, and now for the birds. Another one of my stencils, and I was going for 2 birds, something like that or like that, but I'm not sure. I think they are a little bit big for this page, but I will try and work it out. Maybe I will only do 1 bird, and I'm going to start with this one here. And I've got some gesso, white gesso here, and makeup sponge. I'm going to stencil with white gesso, so I will have a nice base, and any kind of paint that I will put on top will take better to it if I have gesso first. So I'm just taking gesso on my makeup sponge, dabbing the excess and starting to stencil. And where I have darker page underneath, and I've also got texture, then I need to be more to push the sponge better to make it. And I will also probably need 2 or 3 layers of the gesso if I want it completely white. We'll see. So I'm going over just so I will have a better coverage with the gesso. I will need to let it dry before I'm applying any kind of paint on top. And I'm moving it just so I can see what's going on, and if I can maybe squeeze in just one more bird, the same one, only this one will face like this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let this dry because I flipped it over and I don't want it to smear on my page. So right now I'm leaving it be. I want it to dry. Maybe I will even go and do a contour line with the same marker, but I'm not sure yet. I just want to place the 2 birds, see how they fit on my page, and then decide on the paint that is going on top. I'll be back. Okay, so I've got the 2 birds, I've got a nice coverage with the gesso and contour line that make them more defined on the page, and now I want to add a little bit of color. Now I really like that they are white, but they are not prominent enough on my page. So I will need to take my stencil again, and I'm taking magenta, and I'm gonna try and do it very gently, applying this paint. And I also want to mix it with a little bit of white, but without turning it into a pink monstrosity. So I'm gonna do it very gently, dabbing excess and starting like this. I really want the magenta to be here and the edges, and fade towards the middle or here, but then it means it's turning into pink, and I'm kind of have a problem with some shades of pink. So let's see. I'm dabbing here very lightly, so I will have this fading effect, and it would look all blended. Let's hope. Yeah, okay, I can live with it. So I'm going to do the same bird, and I feel like I need some details inside. Again, something that will make them more distinct on the page. So I'm thinking I will stamp inside. I'll just need to color this bird the same I've done this one. Maybe I will even go again and add a little bit more magenta here. I'm just cleaning my stencil here so I can place it without making any damage to my page with leftover paint, and doing the same thing again, starting with the magenta at the tips, like so, and now starting to fade with less and less paint on the sponge. Yeah, okay. And it's even more interesting because I haven't placed it, uh, completely aligned it with what I had before, and I have a white line here and I really like it. Okay, so I'm going to find a stamp that will work for my birds, maybe some musical notes, I don't know, and I'll come back. Okay, so I was thinking about music notes, but because of the lines it didn't fit me, and I wanted something more organic, so I picked two flower stamps. And as you can see, I've already done this bird. I'm not sure about it, but it is what it is. I've taken Memento Nautical Blue ink pad, and I'm just taking this and stamping. As you can see, I've aligned the stencil again on top of what I've already done, and now I'm just stamping it randomly like this, holding the stencil in place. And I'm changing just so it won't be the same flower over and over again. Here we go. Yeah, so I've got some pattern on my birds. Not sure about it, if it if that's what I was aiming for, but that's what it is. And I feel like I need another one here, so let's just align it again. I don't know where to stop, it seems like. Okay, good enough. And for the finale, I just want to add a word. I've got the word dream here, and I'm just going over the edges with the same ink pad I've used. Just so they will have a little bit of color, and I'm just putting the word here. Yeah, that's it. That's my page. I hope you liked it. I hope you will use your stashes, whatever kind of papers you have, and play with it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.